All right, so what I learned yesterday is Caballete. This was a advice that was given to me from the Natural Resources USDA office. So basically what this tool is used for is, if you're familiar with the topographical map, you'll usually see it's like a top-down view. And if you're looking at elevations, each little point of elevations are like these little lines on a hill or on a mountain, from the top all the way down to the bottom. The closer the spaced lines, the steeper that incline is. The further the spaced lines, the shallower that hill is, or less steep, I should say, on the decline. So basically what this does is this helps you find those contour lines. So my land is very angled on the downslope. And so what this does is it helps me find the contour lines along that slope that are level, so that I can get an idea of where to start planting some of my rows based off of that elevation. And a good use for this is to help prevent the erosion. So this is an advice as far as like conservation is concerned, because we want to prevent the erosion of the soil while at the same time being able to plant and maximize the productivity that's out there on the farm. So basically, the way that this works is you would, let's say that my hill is going down towards you, the camera, and I'm on one slope here. And let's say that this is an area going that way along the slope that I want to plant something. So what I would do with this tool is basically I would put this on a part of that slope, just like this. And what I would do is I would basically rotate this apparatus until I find that the bubble levels. Once the bubble levels, and that might be a little bit higher up the slope, it might be a little bit down on the slope, but once that bubble shows that that area is level, I basically mark it with a flag, and then I basically rotate this. And let's assume that I rotated it over to that side. I went that way, and this is now our starting point where our flag is, and I find the next level spot. So what you might see is a stagger of flags throughout that slope as the slope is going down that way, and that's going to be my contour line. And what I basically want to do along that contour line is that's where I want to plant my plants. Now, as far as how far apart I plant the lines or the plants, that really depends on the type of plant. So for example, let's say it's like a banana plant or a plátano, which is plantain plant, and that might be that you have to separate them every 6 feet. Then I would basically follow that flagged line and plant those plants every 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet, depending on what they need, right? So the same concept applies now when I go down more on the slope. So the intention is, as I clean down the slope more, I would be using this tool to set up the next row of plants as I slowly start to clean out the areas going down the land, right? So then I would basically go down to the next version. Now, the next row, the distance is really going to be up to you. I would think that there's probably a minimum to help prevent the erosion a little bit better. But what I was advised is that you would basically go off of what the next product is going to be and how far apart it needs to be. So if I have all my bananas here, right, and let's say they need to be 6 feet apart, that means it also needs to be 6 feet that way. So maybe my next row down is about 6 feet away if I want to plant another row of bananas. All right, so this is how you use to find your contour lines. It's just a quick little apparatus that they showed me how to build. So I put one together to see how well that it works. So just some of the cool things that I've been learning so far. I like to keep sharing these with you as they go. I will make a video of me using this, but the first thing I have to do is clean out that area and even have this be able to touch the ground. So my next objective is to clean out an area, maybe about 30 feet of where I want a contour line to be, where I can plant, and then show you that. The other thing is, so the benefit of this is once you have all of those plants along that line, and let's say that going behind me is an incline up, when it rains, all of those plants in the line are going to basically control some of the flow of the water. And that's the objective, as I understood it, is that you want to control the flow of the water so it's not causing so much erosion. It's not taking so much soil with it as it just drives straight down the hill, because the water is going to want to go down the hill, right? So Basically what it does is, think of it almost like a little bit of a barricade. As the water is coming down towards you, it starts hitting all these plants that I put in place. All of those roots of the plant are basically going to be taking in some of that water, preventing that water from just shooting down the hill. And then as that water continues to go down, it's going to hit the next row, and then the next row, and then the next row, and eventually just completely, control all the water that's going down the hill. And I think over time, as I understand it, is that's what starts to form some of the terraces, because as the ground is moved with the water, which there is still going to be some soil moving, and it starts to collect around where all those plants are, it's going to start to create more of a flatter surface. So what we expect to see is that there is going to be these lines of terraces, basically, where these plants are that control the water coming down. And maybe that's what gives a nice little terrace type view of everything that's growing along the mountainside. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Thanks for following, and subscribe, like if you like this information, or if you have any other insight, feel free. If you have any history on this apparatus as well, or other means of doing it, but this was one that was recommended to me by the USDA NRCS office. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you soon.